Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
We're here in Perek Aleph. V'hinei. Ma sha'arunu chachmeinu zal hu sha'adam lo nibra el itaneg al Hashem leinos me'ziv shchinoso shezeu atanug ha'amiti v'ha'idun ha'gadol b'chol ha'idunим she'yicholim limatzeh. We mentioned this in a previous year. Well, now we hear reading it inside that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when He created man, He created a man to have pleasure. But what kind of pleasure? Only the best type of pleasure, the highest type of pleasure, the most enjoyable type of pleasure, the longest lasting type of pleasure. And that is that a person gets pleasure from being in the Hashem's presence. That's it. We don't really understand what that means. What does that mean? It's a very high level of spirituality, this pleasure. But if you think about it for a second, there are different types of pleasures in this world that we can relate to that aren't necessarily physical pleasures, so we can understand that there are higher levels of pleasure. So one of the lowest levels of pleasure is base physical pleasure. For example, eating. A person enjoys whatever food they're eating. It tickles their taste buds. They enjoy the texture. They enjoy the taste. They enjoy that's a very simple form of pleasure that a person can understand. But really, there are much higher levels than that. And some things we can even imagine. Some things we can imagine and some things we can't. For example, there's a pleasure out there called kavod, honor. Honor isn't necessarily such a physical pleasure. Physical pleasures like tickling your five senses, like we talk about in Shmir Seinaim, when you see something that you enjoy, so that's a certain pleasure. That's what the whole test of Shmir Seinaim is, that I want to look at that thing because I get pleasure from looking at it. But I have to hold myself back. I enjoy tasting something. I enjoy sometimes touching something. There's an enjoyment in that. Honor, cover that a person gets, isn't necessarily something physical per se. I feel better about myself because somebody is giving me honor. But that honor might not be anything. I got an award. Did the award taste good? Did it smell good? Like what was the hana that I got from it? What was the pleasure that I got from it? The pleasure that you got from it was kavod. There's a certain feeling of yourself being more elevated, more higher, that comes when a person makes you feel like that. That's not necessarily a physical pleasure. So there are higher levels of pleasure, what we call nachas from the kinder. Yeah, I have a certain level of pleasure from seeing my children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren thriving, living good life. You get enjoyment from that. Are you getting any physical enjoyment from that? No. But there's certain pleasure that comes from that. How do you define that pleasure? What is it based on? What's that feeling that a person has? So there are certain types of pleasures that are not physical. So we can understand that there's even higher levels than that. Doing something meaningful. Accomplishing something really meaningful. I did this thing, I did that thing, I accomplished so much. That's something that makes a person feel really good. There's a lot of pleasure in that. And that's not physical. So we can understand also there are certain types of pleasures that are above us. We don't know what there is. A person never tasted a certain type of food. They don't know what that pleasure is like. They don't know the taste. Somebody never really had kavod. They don't know what that pleasure is like. When a person starts having kavod, he wants more and more of it. When a person has a tasty food, he wants more of it. When a person gets nachas, he wants more nachas. So just because you don't know doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And here, the Mesil Yisharim is saying that there's a higher level. There's the highest level of pleasure, and that is we are enjoying Hashem's presence. And that's what we were created for. Hashem is telling, and the Sefer is telling us, in Megalos, Hashem created us for that. That's not here in this world, bi'ikr. It's in the next world. That's why Hashem created it. Hashem created man, and Hashem wants man to get that pleasure. The way to get there is through this world. We say that a person doesn't want namak tikisufa, embarrassing bread. Meaning, Hashem doesn't want to give something for free. If you get something for free, then it's not worth as much as if you earned it. I got my chelik in Olam Haba because I worked hard and I got it. I put in effort. I got there. That is what Hashem wants to give you, because that's even a bigger. I deserve this pleasure. So I have to work for it in this world. And then I can get it in the next world. This is what it says in Obos. This world is a gateway. It's a alley. It's a hallway that leads us to the next world, where that's really what the main pleasure Hashem wants to give us. And all of the different ways that a person gets to this point are in this world. They're here. Hema mitzvos asher tivanu aleim akel yisbach shemoit. These are the mitzvos. Hashem is telling us, you want to earn that great pleasure in the next world? Earn it in this world. How do I earn it? What do I do? I'm giving you a list of things. There's 613 mitzvahs. There's a Shulchan Aruch. There's halacha. There's improving our midos. There are a lot of things that a person could and should be doing in this world in order to earn it. His share in Olam Haba. In this world, that's where we can do it. That's what the Mishnah says, that one moment in this world is worth more than Olam Haba, because once you get into Olam Haba, that's it. It's over. Clock stops. You only have up until this point, and that's it. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. Not everybody lives the same amount of time. Some people have longer lives, and some people have shorter lives. The Medrash brings a mashal. The mashal is like this. The mashal is a lot of workers. They're working for the king. And the king has a particular like to one of them. So they're all working hard, and they get paid a certain amount. But this one that he likes more than anybody else, he takes him out from the work, and they go for a walk together. And they're enjoying each other's company. And by the end of the day, so the king has to go back and pay all the workers that work. So he starts paying out to everybody. And the one who took a walk says, what, I'm not going to get paid? You took me away from my work. If you would have given me the time to work, I would have worked. But you specifically took me away from work, and it's going to be worse for me. So we could spend time together. So it's going to be, I would have been happier if I was working. And it's better spending time with you. Because then at least this way I would have gotten paid. So the king said, no, I'm going to pay you also. The Nimshal is about the way Hashem treats us in Olam Hazeh. We are all workers of the Rebbeinu Shalom. We're here to work. If Hashem decides, one of you, I want you to come, one of you to me. And he takes him early, before the workday is over. He takes him young, and he says, you're going to be with me. I want you to be with me early. But he says, but then I'm not going to get to work, and I'm not going to enjoy, I'm not going to, get my reward for working. So he says, don't worry. I'll pay you too. If a person uses their time the right way, then even if they don't have as much time as others have, then Hashem, based on this medrash, will reward them the same way as if they did have that time. It's chaval. I could have finished Shas, but Hashem decided to take the person early. He was working on it. He was trying to get there. He was trying to learn Kol HaTorah Kula, but he died young. That person also is going to get schar. Ki'ilu he did it, because you could see that's what his goals were. That's what he wanted to do. So a person shouldn't push off. I got such a long life. I got time to do everything. No. First of all, nobody knows how long they're going to live. Nobody wants to think about death. Nobody wants to think about it. It's never going to happen. You don't believe it. All right? The great majority of the people that ever existed and continue to exist on this planet have died. Or will die. There are very few, you could probably count them on one hand with a few extra fingers, the amount of people who did not die. We're all going to get there eventually. So the time to use the time is now. We need to use the time now, and then we will earn it. in regardless of whatever length amount of time Hashem gives us, we should all be blessed to live to 120. But it's really dependent on how much work, what do we put in. That's it. That's what matters. And that's what he says over here. That if we put in the mitzvahs in this world, we do the Ratzon Hashem in this world, so then we'll be able to get it in the next world. That's why Hashem put us in this world first. The different opportunities that a person has in this world, in order so that a person will enjoy from the good that Hashem gave him and that he's earned for himself in the next world through these means. Hashem gives us an opportunity through mitzvahs. Hashem gives us an opportunity through mitzvahs. When we take that opportunity and we grow from it, we will get rewarded. Today we put in the effort, tomorrow we'll get the reward. That's exactly what Hashem wants from us. That's the purpose of being here in this world. Eventually to get to that tainug. Hashem wants to give us the tainug. Now, obviously, we're going to see that if a person just does it, right, to get his schar, that's not the highest level. It's not the highest level. Because Hashem wants the relationship too, and we'll see that. But we're looking at it the most basic level. What are we here for? Olam chesed yiboneh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give. What's the best thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give? He wants to give tainug. He wants to give pleasure. How does Hashem want to give pleasure? He wants to give the best pleasure that there is, and that's in Olam Haba. But He wants you to earn it, so that you can really, really enjoy it better, more than anything else. And that way, Hashem created us a whole Olam Hazeh. We have Torah and mitzvahs. When a person focuses on that and knows this is the whole purpose in life, I'm investing in myself, I'm investing in my future, so then he'll really see basof, wow, look what I have. And then he'll really earn and deserve the schar that Hashem is going to give him in Olam Haba. Okay, we're going to stop over here.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.